A very good day, dear students. In this video you shall learn about the basics of fabrication process, the different types of joining process, that is welding, the basics of welding, the basic essential different types of welding, the brazing process and the soldering process. Also you shall see about the various differences in all the three: welding, brazing and soldering process. So this shall cover a part of your fourth module of the subject elements of mechanical engineering. Good day, dear students. In this video we shall try to cover the last topic of module 5, that is CNC automation and robotics. So CNC is a type of machining operation that can be done using the help of computer and numerical control. So we shall cover the basics of CNC automation and robotics. So advanced manufacturing refers to use of new innovative technologies and processes and methods for producing the desired products. It involves versatile production methods to utilize the plant completely in a more efficient way. So it includes usage of computers, computer networks, automation, robotics and various numerical control systems. So we shall see how the integration of computers is done in the manufacturing side, thereby getting a better efficient plant. So CNC machine, full form of CNC is nothing but computer numerical control. It is an advanced form of numerical control system or NC system, where the machine control unit is dedicated microcomputer instead of a hardwired controller, and just like in a conventional numerical controller. So we have a computer itself in order to control the machining process. So it is more suitable. We can complete the programming, processes using the CNC machine, CNC process or computer numerical control process. So here you can see a program input device or a computer basically that stores and runs the program required for the machining process. Then you have a control unit that communicates between the machine tool and the computer and also detects that data that is to be transferred from computer to the machine tool. It also gives the feedback from the machine tool onto the computer for finding out whether the desired command has run or not. Then you have a machine tool that executes the desired machining work. So the machine tool can be a milling machine, can be a lathe, can be a drilling machine, can be a knurling planer machine. So it can be any machine that is required to do the machining operation. So you can see the machine tool is controlled with the help of a run with the help of a control unit and a computer. So this is a typical simple method of representation of a CNC machine. So components of CNC machines: a part program or program input device in a CNC machine. So part program is done either manually or through punch tapes, and then it is fed into the memory of the computer, or with the aid of several computer softwares that automatically generate the program required for production of the desired shape on the desired part. So in today's industrial practice, manual method of programming is obsolete. We normally use softwares for doing the programming part. So programming part is directly fed into the computer through the computer's software. So next one is the machine control unit. So in modern CNC technology, machine control unit consists of a microcomputer and related control hardware that stores the program of instructions and executes it by converting the command into mechanical actions of the machine tool. So the actions are executed one command at a time, and the machine control unit includes system software, calculation algorithms, transition software, communicating softwares, etc. And all these are used to convert the part program into usable format for the machine control unit, so that the machine tool can do the required machining work. It also acts as a feedback controller for precise positioning of the machine table or the spindle. So MCU is the hardware that distinguishes CNC from conventional numerical control machines. So MCU is something that is present in a CNC but absent in a NC. So the general configuration of MC in a CNC machine is illustrated in the next slide along with the figure. So MCU consists of various parts, that is CPU or the central processing unit, the memory, the input output interface, the controls for machine tool axis and spindle speed, and sequence controls for other machine tool functions. So we shall see in depth what each does in the next slide. So this is a typical example of the various components of the CNC machine. In the previous slide I have explained about MCU. In this slide we shall see about the other peripherals. So after MCU we have central processing unit. So the CPU, it is the brain of the MCU. It manages the other components in MCU based on software contained in the main memory. So the CPU can be divided into three sections, that is control section, arithmetic logic unit, and intermediate access memory. Next is the memory. It is the immediate access memory in the CPU and is not intended for storing CNC software. A much greater storage capacity is required for various programs and data that is needed in order to operate the CNC system. Next is the input or output interface. So input or output interface provides communication between the various components of the CNC system and other computer systems and the machine operator. As its name suggests, the I/O or the input output interface transmits and receives the data and signals to the external devices and from the external devices. Next is control for machine tool axis and spindle speed. So these are hardware components that control the position and velocity of the feed rate, the motion of the tool, etc. And for each machine axis as well as the rotational speed of the machine tool spindle. Next is sequence control for other machine tool functions. So in addition to the control of the table position, feed rate, spindle speed, several additional functions are accomplished under part program control. So these auxiliary functions are generally on or off actuations, interlocks, discrete numerical data. To avoid overloading of CPU, a programmable logic controller is sometimes used to manage the input or output interface for the auxiliary functions. So this is a typical structure of a CNC machine. As explained in the previous two slides, machine tool is the last part of the CNC machine. So machine tool performs the actual machining operation. It can be any of the type of the machines like lathe, drilling machine, milling machine, etc. And it consists of work table, tool spindles, whose motion can be controlled accurately by driving the system that receives the commands from the machine control unit. A part with the desired features is produced by the machining tool. So basically the output comes from this machine tool and it is controlled by the control unit and the computer. The next typical example is the open loop system and the closed loop system. So in open loop system, also referred to as a non-feedback system, is a type of continuous control system in which the output has no influence or effect on the control action of the input signal. In other words, an open loop control system, the output is neither measured nor fed back for comparison with the input. Therefore, an open loop system is expected to faithfully follow its input command or set point regardless of the final result. Also, an open loop system has no knowledge of the output condition, so it cannot self-correct any errors, and it could make when the present value drifts, even if this result in large deviates from the present value. But one of the disadvantage of open loop system is that they are poorly equipped to handle disturbances or changes in the conditions, which may reduce its ability to complete the desired task. For example, the dryer door opens and heat is lost, and the timing controller continues regardless of the full 30 minutes, but the clothes are not heated or dried at the end of the drying process. This is because there is no information that is fed back to maintain the constant temperature. So this can be overcome in the closed loop control system. So a typical closed loop control system in which the output has an effect on the input quantity in such a manner that the input quantity will adjust itself based on the output generated, and is called closed loop control system. So open loop control system can be converted into a closed loop control system by providing a feedback system. So this feedback automatically makes the suitable changes in the output due to external disturbance. In this way, closed loop control system is called automatic control system. The figure shows the block diagram of a closed loop control system and an open loop control system. You can clearly see that in a closed loop control system, feedback is taken from the output and it is fed to the input. So for example, consider electric clothes dryer. Suppose we use a sensor or transducer as an input device to continually monitor the temperature or dryness of the cloth and feed a signal relating to the dryness back to the controller as shown in the figure. So this sensor would monitor the actual dryness of the clothes and compare it with the input reference. So the error signal is amplified by the controller and the controller output can make the necessary corrections or changes to the heating system to reduce the errors. So these are the major advantages of CNC. We have increased productivity. Since machine can run for 24 hours all the 365 days, no human intervention is required, so no rest is required. It is highly accurate and highly precise, so better quality control. Multi-operational facilities, multiple operations can be done in a same time frame. It does not require a skilled operator because everything is machine controlled. Improved automation, more reliability, more repeatability, same operation can be repeated over and over again. More flexible, hence greater flexibility, better motion control, increased machine utilization, hence improved efficiency, reduced production cost, reduced indirect operation cost. It facilitates complex machining operations, improved production plan and control, So all these are advantages of the CNC machine. So just like advantages, we have certain disadvantages also. So major disadvantage is initial investment cost. So initial investment is very high. We have to invest heavily for the initial setup. Next is maintenance. Maintenance is also difficult. We have to ensure proper working environment, temperature control for the computer, etc. Hence maintenance cost is high. For low production, it is a costlier process, but for bulk production, in heavy production, it is much better. And it requires skilled programmer. A person with having good knowledge of programming is required. Next is CNC machining center. So it can be defined as a CNC machine tool controlled by a computer program that can perform the required machining operation, and it can perform multiple machining operations like milling, drilling, tapping, boring, etc. with automatic tool changers. So there are two types, typically vertical machining centers and horizontal machining center. The term machining center itself describes almost any CNC milling, drilling machine that includes an automatic tool changer and a table that clamps the workpiece in its required desired place. Or a machining center, the tool rotates but the workpiece does not rotate, and the orientation of the spindle is the most fundamental definition that characterizes the machining center. So vertical machining center generally favors precision, while horizontal machining center generally favors production. So next is CNC turning center. So it can be defined as a CNC machine tool controlled by a computer program that can perform multiple machining operations or turning operations like cylindrical turning, taper turning, thread cutting, facing operation by a variety of tools with the automatic tool changers. So basically, a turning center is a lathe with the computer numerical control attachment. So sophisticated turning centers can also perform a variety of milling and drilling operation. Some of the advantages include high torque, high speed turning, milling spindle. It provides fast, accurate and aggressive metal removal capabilities. Other features include user friendly, high functionality CNC control, simplify programming and increase the productivity. So basically a turning center is nothing but a lathe that comes with a computer control. So next is robots. So how do we define a robot? Robot is nothing but an programmable multifunctional manipulator that is designed to move the material parts, tools or special devices through the variable programmed motions for the performance of a variety of tasks. So robot system consists of a manipulator, end effector or gripper, actuator, sensor, controller, and each of them have a specific act to play. So it can be simply considered as an artificial agent acting as a substitute for human labor. So typically a robot system consists of manipulator. This is the main body of the robot and consists of links, joints, structural elements of the robot. And end effector or gripper, this is the part that generally handles the objects, makes connection to other machines or performs the required tasks. Then we have actuators. So these are the muscle of the manipulator. So common type of actuators are servo motors, stepped motors, pneumatic or hydraulic cylinders, etc. Then we have sensors. So sensors are used to collect information about the internal state of the robot or to communicate with the outside environment. So robots are often equipped with external sensory devices such as a vision sensor or a vision system, touch sensor, a tactile sensor, etc., which help to communicate with the outside atmosphere or with the outside environment. Then we have a controller. The controller receives the data from the computer or the control system and it controls the motion of the actuator and coordinates the motions with the sensory feedback information. So basically it controls the movement of the robot in the various direction. So industrial robots come in various shapes, various sizes, and they are capable of various actions or various arm manipulations, and they possess different motion systems. However, we have four basic configuration, and they are identified with most of the commercially available industrial robots. They are Cartesian coordinate system, cylindrical coordinate system, polar coordinate system, articulated or joint arm configuration, or revolute configuration or coordinate system. So we shall see about each of this in the coming slides. So all these configurations are basically referring to the motion of the robotic arm, So now let us see about the various robot configurations and how they perform the desired motion. So first one is Cartesian coordinate system. So robot which is constructed around this configuration consists of three orthogonal slides, and the three slides are parallel to the x-axis, y-axis and z-axis of the Cartesian coordinate system. By appropriate movement of these slides, the robot is capable to move its arm in any point within the three dimensions of the rectangular spaced workspace. So basically the robot can move in any of the directions of the rectangular spaced workspace in x axis, y axis and the z axis. So a typical system is shown in the figure in this slide. So here you can see how exactly in x, y and z axis the motion happens, and this is a pictorial view and a 2D view of the Cartesian configuration system. Unlike what you saw in the previous slide, the other two setups are also shown in this slide. So basically it can move in the three axis in x, y and z axis through x, y and z motion. So the next one is cylindrical configuration. So in this configuration, the robot body is a vertical column that swivels about the vertical axis, and the arm consists of several orthogonal slides which allow the arm to be moved up or down and in and out with respect to the body. So this is illustrated in this figure. So basically it is revolving motion. It is the revolving motion that is happening in the cylindrical configuration. So here you can see the typical cylindrical configuration with pictorial view and 2D view. It is the representation of just like how we had in the previous slide, and you can see along the cylinder, work volume cylinder, it can move in any location. So we need to know the angle theta and the diameter and vertical height in z axis. So we have to, the location can be considered with the respect to the radius or diameter, angle theta and the height. So the next typical configuration is the polar configuration. In this configuration, we also have another name, spherical coordinate system, because the workspace within which it can move its arm is a partial sphere. So polar configuration also goes with another name which is called as spherical coordinate system. So the robot has a rotary base and a pivot that can be used to raise the arm and lower the telescopic arm. So typical example is shown in this figure. It can revolve in circular direction in the spherical coordinate system. In this slide you can see the 2D view and pictorial view of the polar coordinate system. You can see how in the spherical sphere it can revolve and pick the object using its arm and place in the desired location. So basically you will have the angle theta here that is required to be set for picking the object from a desired location. The next is articulated configuration. So this is a combination of cylindrical and polar configuration. This is similar in appearance to the human arm. The arm consists of several straight members connected by joints which are analogous to the human shoulder, elbow and wrist. So the robot arm is mounted to a base which can be rotated to provide the robot with the capacity to work with the quasi-spherical shape or quasi-spherical space. A typical example is shown in the diagram. You can see here you have two joints just like the human arm. Here in this figure you can see how exactly an arm is fitted and the robot movement can be done. The first joint represents the shoulder, the second joint represents the elbow, and then we have the upper arm and the forearm and wrist. So it can pick and place the object in from a given space just like a human arm. So advantages of robotics and automation can and in many situations increase the productivity, safety, efficiency, quality of the product and consistency of the product, because it can make or do the repeated work over and over again. It can work in hazardous environment. So since humans are not involved, it can work in any type of environment, lack of oxygen, radioactive environment, etc. Robots can work in any type of environment without any problems. They can continuously work without any human needs, like you don't need to feed it. It does not require any rest, it does not require any sleep, it does not fall ill. So it can work continuously without any human needs. It does not develop fatigue. Robots have repeatable precision at all times. So every time the precision is same. It does not change. Whereas in human beings there is a chance that the precision and the quality of work may change. But in robots that is not the case. It can repeat its preciseness every time it does the work. It has greater response time to inputs than the humans. So response time is better. Robots can process multiple tasks simultaneously, and humans can process only one task at a time, but robots can do multiple tasks. So multitasking is possible. It reduces the accident because it can do the desired work over and over again without any mistake. So accident rate will be reduced, or less accident rate or fatality rate. So in addition to these advantages, there are other advantages also, like it has greater flexibility. It is more flexible. It can be reprogrammed. It can be programmed over and over again. So we can change the programming process. It's improved product quality. The output will be same with the same quality, and it will be having a better quality. Accuracy and preciseness is better, so hence the quality is better. It can maximize the capital intensive equipment in multiple work shifts, so continuously it can work. Hence the returns will be better. Reduction of hazardous exposure for human workers. So in certain cases where hazardous work environment are there, we need not send the humans, whereas robots can do the work. Automation less susceptible to work stoppages, so frequent work stoppages, strikes, etc. won't happen. Work will be continuous and there won't be any work stoppages. So just like advantages, there are certain disadvantages as well. So replacement of human labor results in greater unemployment. Significant retraining costs for both unemployed and users who are new to the technology will be required. Advertised technology does not always disclose some of the hidden disadvantages. Robots are not creative and innovative, so human thinking and creativity is absent. They cannot think independently. Robots cannot make complicated decisions. Robots cannot learn from their mistakes. Robots cannot adapt quickly to the changes in the surroundings. They are costlier because of the high initial investment and initial equipment cost, high installation cost, need for training of the new personnel, need for peripherals, need for programming, which increases the cost of the robots. They have limited capabilities in degrees of freedom, dexterity or skills, sensors, real-time responses. Robots lack capability to respond in emergencies. So this can cause inappropriate or wrong response, lack of decision making power, damage to the robot and other devices, human injuries, etc. So these are some of the disadvantages of the robot system. So applications, it is used widely in the field of welding, painting, surface finishing, aerospace industries. It is used in automobile industries, light assembly areas such as microelectronics and consumer goods products, in inspection of parts, in underwater work, underwater exploration works, in space exploration works, because hazardous environment and hazardous atmosphere is there. In hazardous waste handling work, or locations where humans cannot reach, like lack of oxygen, radioactive atmosphere, radioactive environment. In such locations we can use robots to do the desired work of the human beings. So in these are the various applications of robots. So the robots can also be applied in transfer of materials, so pick and placing of an equipment or object, palletizing or depalletizing applications. So the robots can stack the products onto a pallet during palletizing operation and pick the part from an orderly stacked pallet to another location during depalletization operation. Stacking applications, so robots are good in stacking the parts one above the other. Insertion operation, so robots can be used to insert the parts into the compartments or space provided in the boxes. Next, machine loading and unloading. So machine loading and unloading can be done easily using the robots. Next is processing operations. So operations like spot welding, arc welding, spray painting, etc. can be done easily using the robots. Next is assembly and inspection. So assembly automation using robots will ensure high productivity, consistency in quality and cost saving when compared to the manual assembly. So robot arm manipulates an inspection probe that moves relative to the product to be inspected. So the end effect here is the inspection probe. So robots are also used to inspect whether the part is present or not in an assembly, and inspect the assembly of a part into an engine, etc. So such automated work can be easily done by the robots. So next is automation. So automation is use of control system and information technology to reduce the need of human work in the production line or in the production of goods and production of goods and providing services. So automation control system is able to control a process with minimum human assistance or without manual or intervention, and it has the ability to initiate, adjust, act or show actions or measure the variables in the process and stop the process in order to obtain the desired output. So the main objective of automation control system in the industry is to increase the productivity, to improve the quality of the product, to control the production cost. So there are different types of automation like fixed automation, programmable automation, flexible automation, etc. We shall see about this in the following slides. Here in this figure you can see how exactly an arm is fitted and the robot movement can be done. The first joint represents the shoulder, the second joint represents the elbow, and then we have the upper arm and the forearm and wrist. So it can pick and place the object in from a given space just like a human arm. So now let us see about the various robot configurations and how they perform the desired motion. So first one is Cartesian coordinate system. So robot which is constructed around this configuration consists of 3 orthogonal slides, and the 3 slides are parallel to the x-axis, y-axis and z-axis of the Cartesian coordinate system. By appropriate movement of these slides, the robot is capable to move its arm in any point within the 3 dimensions of the rectangular spaced workspace. So basically the robot can move in any of the directions of the rectangular spaced workspace in X axis, Y axis and the Z axis. So a typical system is shown in the figure in this slide. So the next is flexible automation. It is an extension of programmable automation, but flexible automated system is one that is capable of producing a wide variety of products with virtually zero time loss for the changeovers from one product to another product. So this is very flexible and it can be easily changed. So there is no loss in production time while reprogramming the system and altering the physical setup. Consequently, the system can produce various combinations and schedules of products instead of requiring them to be made in separate batches. So typical features of flexible automation: high investment for custom engineered system, continuous production of variable mixtures of products, medium production rates, flexibility to deal with the product design variations. So it is much more flexible as compared to the previous two types of automation system. So with this, the computer numerical control part or computer controlled machining part of this module has been covered and completed. So with this, the module 5 is complete, that is the machining process of the subject EME. Thank you all.